Yeah. Anyway, so welcome back to the Dunes, my friends. This is not some tournament, but it's Coalition versus Savon on College Thief. Excited to see this. Because this is a guy I've never heard of before. It may be someone who I know, it may be somebody who I know who is just, like, using a different username, but, I don't know. Bruce can tell us, perhaps, in the chat. Which replay of yours isn't working? The one that you posted last on casual replays. I put a thumbs up on it. But it needs the DOK replay X file as well, because otherwise it won't run. Hey, that's fine though. I always like seeing a newcomer to the scene. Let's see what he does. Retains the base runner here. He's going for LAV spam, maybe. We'll have to see though. He's got 4 on CUs, 1 on RUs. This is kind of classic LAV spam eco management here. M.E.S, meanwhile, kind of doing a similar thing, but he's filling out the LDMs there. He also retains the base runner though. Oh no, it is lost to the annals of time. Alas. Well, that's too bad. Not all replays are preserved. Probe be flying for M.E.S here, just trying to figure out the build from his opponent, as you do. It is going to be carrier production from him, coming out at a slightly earlier timing. And this probe actually going to be jibbed by the base runner. Not gibbed, jibbed. Now, although there is an LAV advantage then, numerically, for, what's his face? For... Let's call this guy Sabo, or rsabo. What the heck do we call him? Let's call him M.E.S. I'll call him M.E.S. Who is responsible for this mess? Anyway, he does have the carry production out earlier here. Now, there is an LAV numerical advantage, but obviously the targeting jammer may allow M.E.S to fight favorably here, and indeed it will, so he gets the first kill for free. And M.E.S now going for a support cruiser. No production upgrade just yet. He plans to go up onto 2 base. So this is kind of like a 3 LAV into 2 base type of play here. LAV armor teching for M.E.S, so he seems to want to fight it. And then M.E.S is going to tech into AV fab here. Now in CVC, we did a lot of work trying to make it so that AAVs weren't just like the go-to unit. This is, for instance, the reason for the LAV buffs in, I think, JC6 it was, perhaps 7. By the way, really good fight here for M.E.S. He's going to actually capture all of the LAVs from M.E.S there. Looks like one of them gets away. But now this base runner is forfeits. This is very nicely done from him. This is kind of what we wanted CVC to be about, that the AV timing would be a bit lower tempo, and so maybe LAVs have a window to do some damage in the early game. Whereas in vanilla CVC, you'll notice that, like, even very good LAV players like Garmulator, they won't play LAV first into Coalition, because they just know they're not going to get any value from it. So A-Game did a lot of work trying to make LAVs able to get value in CVC without being too powerful in CVG, and without AAVs being too weak in GVC. Because obviously it's easy to kind of move too far into one of those directions. I think we have a decent balance right now, but I'm not sure if that balance can ever be perfect, really. It kind of just is unfortunately true that, like, AAV is so easy to get to, and they really shut down Strikecraft plays a lot. Artifact comes out, by the way, for M.E.S. This is very nice. He'd like to push in here, but there's 4 LAVs in the Sport Cruiser. He probably won't win that fight, so he's not really able to get a whole lot done here, but he does have his support cruiser out, so he's able to go up onto 2 base now at some point. Thing is, he does need to get tech to deal with these AVs that are coming out, and this base runner can drive back home, and then have options to, like, set turrets down. This is kind of an interesting question, how he wants to play this game out from here on, but he needs some tech, he needs something, because if he just lets the AV drive up to him, he's going to be unhappy. And it is going to be Railgun Fab, which I think is a strong pick. LAV and Rails can do quite a lot of damage. Only thing he's got to watch out for is air, which Rails would be particularly weak to. AVs obviously being more tanky, air units are not going to hurt them quite as bad. So if you get caught out without anti-air, it's not as much of a deal. But in the pure ground war, you'd expect Strikecraft and Rails to beat Strikecraft and Armor generally. LAV's gonna trade 1 for 1 there. Smoke kind of wasted, I would say. But he can't quite get in here. This carrier doing enough to ward him off. He does have that artifact, so he's got some power available to him. And he'd love to get up onto this base as well, so he's just now filling this out. Second carrier production upgrade coming out at a very early timing, actually. M.E.S as well going to catch this base runner a little bit out, which is nice for him. He's got money for a turret, but he can't really lay that down until he gets back to the SC if he even wants it. So this is a little bit tricky. I'd love to see then a couple of rails being produced here. But it is true that these LAVs can actually kill this AV, because there's quite a few of them. He tries to smoke to save himself. I like the attempt, but it doesn't quite work for him. LAVs then from M.E.S going to try to take this window to push in, but this is a mistake, because they're getting it sandwiched between this carrier, which is decently powered. It's got 1 artifact, but you know what I mean. It has some power in it, and between these LAVs, which are just going to chunk them to pieces. So he gets a bit of damage on the SC, but you can't really call that worth it. That's a bit of a throw, if you ask me. And now a couple rails are out, and so we're going to get to that stage of the game where M.E.S is never going to get pushed on by AAVs, but fighter and gunship tech is done. So one option he has is to make another base runner and use that to try and defend. He has that production upgrade, so he can spam a lot of LAVs, but he's kind of going to be starved for money otherwise. First thing he probably wants to do is just fill out his bases, and I think that is a salvager being produced right now. Yep. Plonk. Well, that looked funny. But yeah, he does need to watch out for air, and in particular gunships, I would say. The gunship is going to be much more resilient to these LAVs, and it still does the job of killing both rails and LAVs. Not to mention, when you don't have any AAV tech, obviously rails have 0 armor. That's a very obvious window to punish with a gunship, because they do much, much better against unarmored targets. And M.E.S, by the way, is up onto 3 base as well, so if he can, like, not get pushed, he's actually in a very good position here, because just sitting here, he's building an advantage. And if his opponent is sitting out in the midfield like this, he's really actually vulnerable to being killed by air. So, indeed, it's going to launch here. A little bit worried for M.E.S right now. Strike Fighter's going wide, though, so they may be planning on attacking the bases. Now, it looks like he's just going to get vision here. He does see, hey, look, it's a railgun. And he'll probably choose to take that. Uh-oh. Okay, I thought he wasted missiles on the, whatchamacallit, on the probe. That would be a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, as you can see, he does get a rail kill for free. Snipes the probe as well, which is kind of nice at this point. And now he can just dock these guys, because they are obviously injured. He could keep this guy out, but he's only got 1 missile left, so it doesn't seem terribly valuable to me. He's going to move him first, though. He doesn't want him to get strafed by anti-air fire. And with the railgun dead, these AVs can just kind of push. They're not really worried. They've got armor too, by the way. So he is indeed going to be able to deny this second artifact. And the base runner from M.E.S is going to go down. So pretty textbook play there from M.E.S. I like it. And again, he is constantly building an advantage the longer he waits here, because he is on 3 base. The old vanilla meta at this point would be to go for carrier power and then like rail power plays with support cruiser anti-air. But I think on patch you really want to go for assault cruisers into artillery on this map, right? We'll see if he clicks on it. He may not, but I think that would be a very strong choice. Le gunship still kind of circling around. This unit is just so freaking good looking, you know? Oh, man. And like the little detail of like how the flaps open when it turns, it's just like, man. Homeworld is like a game that's meant to be played, obviously, but also meant to be looked at. It's kind of funny that way. Like there's just so much detail, you know? Anyway, these AVs can kill this turret. They should stick around for this. Yeah, they will get it eventually. This is actually an anti-air turret, so they can push... Oh, they're gonna back away. I feel like you just have finally cracked this, although maybe the LAVs will come in and wreck you, but... Turret, of course, not nearly as strong in patch as it was in vanilla. I think actually that's more a function of AVs doing more damage, though. The gunship is still just kind of looking for windows here. There's a lot of anti-air turret posts getting set up by M.E.S, but he's kind of falling into the turtle trap, I think. This is something you'll see newer players do a lot. He doesn't realize, like, the longer we sit here, the further behind I get. My opponent will build up a bigger and bigger army. And indeed, Assault Cruiser Tech was taken. Artillery is ready to get clicked on right here as well. And this SC being done means unlocked carrier. And Moose has got full field control as well. I'd love to see him get this tech. Yep, he does. But the other thing I'd love to see him do is get like a base runner and start extracting. Because he has just got like infinite field control here. Maybe he fears the bombers. Well, that's a valid fear, I'm not gonna lie. You know, of course, what bombers really kind of specialize in is killing anti-air. It feels a little bit counterintuitive, but you kind of need air to deal with them. This anti-air turret post, by the way, is pretty hopeful, I guess I'd say. This can easily be killed by this AAV if he wants it. Uh-oh, and he sees the AAV, so he's going to pull his forces over, but at this very moment, he's actually getting pushed on his main. Does he have boost? No. Okay, so this might be pretty bad for him. Not to mention there's air, but, like, I don't think that's even going to be used in this fight. He prioritizes the turret, he should do anything. Oh, no, 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 no. Please. The railguns are a juicy target, but look how much damage you take to turret here. This is really bad. You can't leave a turret at, like, half health like that. Oh, gosh. He lost, like, 8 LEVs that didn't have to die there. That's really unfortunate. It's okay, though, because he did get the damage. He's gotten one salvager here, and he forces his opponent to deal with it. It means more time that he gets to just kind of sit on this third base, denying his opponent's mining. And this gunship is actually also interested in coming in here, which is going to do pretty well, and there is armor 1, but he needs to be careful he doesn't get killed by, yeah, by turret posts. So down he goes. And in fact, an LAV scoring the killing blow means he gets a bunch of veterancy too. Commander. He's gonna go for this anti-air turret post here, actually. I mean, he can get it, to be fair. Do anti-air turret posts get high ground advantage? Did you see that? That little blue plus? Oh dear. I'll have to ask A-Game about that, because if so, he probably wants to fix that. And these ACs are a very, very good pick right now, because obviously so much is invested into this anti-air, and he has like a ground force that can sort of like hit and run, but that's not the best for like holding on to these kind of fixed positions. And so assault cruisers can just say, hey, we can just sort of muscle in here and, you know, we can decide that you're dead now. Artillery, of course, also great, so it's worth it to tech assault cruiser just to get that artillery. By the way, they will kill this assault cruiser here, but there's no way they trade value with... Wow, they actually all got out. Missile batteries do not get joke patch. Or, do not get high ground, no. Thank goodness, right? Because, yeah, I mean, that would be very important for joke patch. I could actually give them high ground. It'd be kind of interesting, because they want to be fighting from behind dunes, because they don't use line of sight. But, no, they don't have high ground right now. Nice smoke there, just gonna try and protect the base runner as it's on its way in. Could put down a second one. Yeah, he does. And the artifact will be extracted. That was not really in question, but the question is, does this base runner get out now? He should throw a targeting jammer, yep, and then just like drive off. Nice. Yeah, I think he'll get out. I'm still going crazy because that move that Moose pulled off in that one game where he like stopped the artifact extraction using the targeting jammer. I mean, that was, like, next level. That's the kind of stuff I want to see from him, you know what I mean? LAV is going to try hard here and catch a couple of AVs out. They can actually chase this one. But is there a gunship for Moose? No. I don't know, strike fighters could probably still really hurt these guys, though. I mean, this probe has no business being here. Unless maybe he's trying to distract, get the LAVs to shoot the probe instead of like the strike fighters, but I don't think that was the idea. But yeah, as you can see, LAVs do have some anti-air, but these strike fighters can clearly kill them. Gunship would be just like more effective at it, but like it doesn't really matter. It gets the job done. And power 3 on the way. We have a nice backstab over here. This is really, really painful. Difficult for Coalition Civilian players to deal with this, right? Because their production is all focused on that one position. This is gonna do quite a lot. Missile Barrage used actually on the support cruiser. We usually see that on the salvagers. I think it's a bit more valuable there. Utilize the anti-air nature of it. So we have Mag Excel coming out for M.E.S now, but this is tricky, right? Because like assault cruisers do a really good job dealing with LAVs. So we can't really LAV spam to deal with this artillery, but railguns are just tricky to win versus artillery with because you can get so much attrition damage on you, right? I love the attempt using det packs here. Did I say something weird? I probably did. You know, it wouldn't be a Bozo cast without me saying some like things that don't make any sense though, right? I like this. Precision barrage down onto this base runner. Oh, it doesn't kill it in one hit though. Interesting. That might be a little bit RNG dependent, to be fair. Oh, look at this. We've actually got battle cruisers out for M.E.S here. And he's building one right now, so he's kind of got a bit of a party bus going on, but battle cruiser is going to get teched by M.E.S though. And BCs, I think, are maybe not the best call here, really. But, like, they will beat, like, artillery and assault cruisers if they get up close to them, but I don't know if they'll survive there, because obviously we do have a pretty powered Savon carrier chilling over here. And this backstab was just mega efficient. He'll probably save up cooldowns for this repair system, and then just come back in and see what he can get the second round. I think if it comes to a battlecruiser fight here, though, the Savon player has quite an advantage because he has the range, so he can kite his opponent. And then his opponent, of course, is going to be having trouble, having a lot of trouble fighting those BCs from the Savon player, but if he doesn't fight them, he's going to just be whittled down by this artillery. And here, of course, we can see an example of this TAC Missile Barrage just killing off those BCs anyway, so it's tricky to use them at all. Air shouldn't be launched, though. He should just wait until he can clear out these anti-air turret posts. Another artifact extraction going to come out. Oh, and let's also mention Savon players, of course, can really mess up BCs, right? Because if he drops a targeting jammer on it, its movement speed drops to like next to nothing. This BC does get popped as well by the artillery. I always say artillery turns out to be surprisingly good against BCs because they spend a lot of time standing still and the direct fire will really hurt them. Galzian Siege not as much because the auto fire is really not very good, but... Oh, I said direct fire. I mean the automatic fire. And yes, you're right, ALMs are very, very good at slowing down BC pushes. So I don't see a world where the Coalition BCs will ever get on top of the Savon BCs. I mean, I keep talking about this. We actually haven't seen any BCs get produced yet, but, you know. Targeting Jammer is nice here, by the way. Denies the healing from all of these SCs, as well as slowing them down a little bit. But those assault cruisers probably want to be in the front line right now. Still, though, oh, great Targeting Jammer here as well. It's not as if this Coalition carrier can fight, right? Because, like, the Savon one has a lot more power here. Power 4 finishing right now, but, like, he didn't even need it. But power up the weapons, very, very nice. Microwave emitter, maybe he wants to hold off on that, just go for power 5 instead. No, actually what he wants to do is build 3 BCs right now. That's definitely the right choice. He's gonna take microwave emitter instead though. I mean, hey, cruise missile is always kind of nice to have. Definitely wants to power up the weapons here, but it's not gonna be a breakpoint. Like, this Coalition carrier can't really do sustained damage against the Savon one, so he's definitely going to win this fight. With a BC pop? Yeah, even with a BC popping. I mean, there's just not enough... There's not enough damage here, right? Power 5 gonna start teching. Microwave emitter is tasked to drop right there. He kind of needs to gain a bit of ground here. Okay, there we go. So now it's launched. And yeah, as you can see, that BC actually does die pretty fast. Eco is just getting wiped, of course. This is why I said, though, microwave emitter not really terribly impactful. I'd rather see him just triple produce like a BC. That's how he should have spent his money. But not as if it's gonna make the difference. Uh-oh. Not on my channel, no, no, no. I'm just, because targeting jammers do not target carriers, so... I just always hate seeing targeting jammers get deployed on carriers. We can give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe he was dropping it to try and stop, like, the rails that come out from shooting, but... Yes, I am very sure. 100% chance they do not block carriers. Anyway, Moose is gonna take the game though, so well done to him. But this M.E.S guy, I've never seen him before, so the thing is, a player who you've never seen before, it's usually like, oh, time to pug stomp, you know what I mean? This guy really put up a fight. I actually really like this game. So well done to him. I'm gonna try to ping him on Discord and see if we can reach him.